in peace. And I pray that the Most High will be with you, those who are here and those people online. And the Most High will be with us, not only today, but forevermore. And we also pray that the Most High will increase us in knowledge so that this message will come out right and it will make great impacts on our people's lives. So may the Most High bless you. May the Most High bless all Israelites wherever they may be, all Jews wherever they may be around the world, everyone facing Jerusalem at this time in this beautiful Shabbat day. So once again, Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem.
Aleka shalom.
All right, now we're talking. Okay, because this is going to be a very interesting lesson, guys. So our lesson today is very beautiful, and I call it the escape plan. What did I call it? The escape plan, right? So I'd like for you to write down this because I created a acronym. So I give escape a definition. The letter E will stand for exiting. The letter S will stand for systematic. The letter C will stand for control. The letter A will stand for and. The letter P will stand for premeditated. And the letter E will stand for enslavement. So let me go again. Escape, exiting, systematic, control, and premeditated enslavement. Okay? Anybody want me to say it again? One more time. Okay. So it's going to be exiting, systematic, control, and premeditated enslavement. Okay? So two things here. We see systematic control and premeditated enslavement. So to begin, of course, let's get the book of Zephaniah. Chapter 2, verse 1.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourself together, yeah. Gather together, O nation now desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as a shaft, before the fierce anger of the Most High come upon you, before the day of the Most High anger come upon you.
Right, so gather yourselves together before the decree bring forth, before things go from bad to worse. Not after, but before. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, the people that nobody want, the people nobody like, the people which is unwelcome everywhere, but yet loved by the Most High. Gather yourselves together while you can, before things go bad. So now, this lesson, as I mentioned, it's called the escape plan. Okay? Now, by now, you should know that we are in slavery. And if anybody, any descendant of the slaves or Native Americans as one nation, if you don't know, let me know, because I'll tell you. Because we are in slavery. Okay? To prove that, let's get the book of Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8. Baruch, chapter 3, verse 8.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
We are what?
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity.
Read.
Where thou hast scattered us from a reproach. From a reproach.
For a reproach.
For a reproach and a curse. And to be subject to payments.
To be subject to what?
To payments.
Read.
According to all iniquities of our fathers.
According to all the iniquities of our fathers, meaning what our ancestors used to do, this is exactly why we are here. Why we are still in captivity. But what's interesting, you're going to see, before we conclude this lesson, you're going to see how, unfortunately, some of our people are continuing this pattern, We're not trying to break the cycle, but we're continuing the cycle, meaning it's going to be hard, if not almost impossible, for us to get out. But we here in GYC, all the Israelites congregation, we have to have one objective: break that cycle, obliterate that pyramid of doom, which is keeping our people on the bottom, so we never get out of here. Has any one of you ever watched that movie, The Sunken Place, the Get Out?
Get out.
You know what it feels like when I think of about the movie, when you are trapped in a state, in a mental state, because I think that's what it was, that you can't get out. You really like you. It seems like you're falling for all eternity. You can't get out. You're trapped. Now, here go another question I'm going to ask you guys. Has any one of you ever heard of a slave box? No. It's a slave box. Yes, it's a physical box. An actual box that's like the size of this, but half of that. In the movie Django? Okay. So, it's some of them, the way they design, they are far worse than you saw in the movie. Some slave box you were able to sit, but other slave box you were not able to sit. So both of your hands would either be forward or they would be up. Okay? And then your neck, you would have wood around your neck. So, and then you cannot sit. Some of them you could not sit. You would just be standing at a position like squatting. And you would be there for a long time as a form of punishment. You can't get out. I think of this slave box. I feel like my blood pressure was going up. I'm like, geez, can you imagine if I'm trapped in something like that? Let alone if you were actually in it. Think about it for a second, okay? So, why am I talking about this slave box? A lot of you may or may not realize you are actually in a slave box right now. And if you remember the meaning of the word escape, which I'm going to say it again, it's exiting systematic control and premeditated enslavement. If you think of the definition, two key things here: systematic control and premeditated enslavement. We're going to talk about those. What does that really mean? And then by the end of this lesson, you'll understand why it's necessary for you to get out. Okay? If you can't get out physically, you better start getting out mentally. So, read the book of Baruch again.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach.
For what?
For a reproach and
Read.
a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Most High our power.
And so, how and why did the curses pour upon us is in part because not in part, entirely because we didn't keep the commandments. Let's get Daniel chapter 7. Daniel 7 verse 11. I like that verse. I think I called that verse during the new moon, but I'm going to call it again. Daniel chapter 7 verse 11. Daniel 9 verse 11.
Daniel chapter 9 verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law.
Was it one or
Thy
all
law.
Israel?
All Israel have transgressed thy law,
Read.
even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice.
By departing, meaning by walking away from keeping the commandments, that they would not listen to the Most High's voice. Read.
Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him.
Because we have sinned against him. Now, we remember, if we read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1, and also down 28, verse 15, there were conditions. If you do everything the Most High tell you to do, you're going to get all the blessings. But if you would not do them, all the curses would pour upon you. And it's a lot of curses. One of them, you would have a nation coming from far, and the nation would have the symbol of the ego, and that nation would be oppressing you. Okay? So, because we did not keep the commandments, as a nation, now we're not talking about individual, because we still had some individuals that were very righteous among us. But the Most High is not looking at individual light, it's looking at Israelite, one nation. So it's necessary for you to correct a brother or a sister who you see is going the wrong way. Because ultimately, when the nation is going to be destroyed, it's not going to be just that person. You might end up being destroyed as well. This is why some of the prophets, they ended up in Babylon and Persia, but the prophets, they were righteous men. But when the nation got messed up, everybody ended up getting punished. And you're like, me, what did I do? And sometimes even the animals get taken into captivity. The animals like, me too? I didn't do anything. I'm just an animal. I didn't tell this guy to be dumb. But it doesn't matter. Everybody's going to get punished. So now, exiting. The first word is exiting. In this context, exiting means leaving or breaking free from something oppressive or confining. Leaving or breaking free from something oppressive or confining. That's what exiting means in this context. Second thing is systematic control. Systematic control means a deliberate, organized structure of power or authority that limits freedom, often referring to institutions or systems, for example, legal, economic, or social system that are designed to maintain dominance and promote supremacy. It's a long definition. I'm going to go back and read it again. Systematic control means a deliberate, organized structure of power or authority that limits freedom. The first thing it does is what? Limit freedom. Often referring to institutions or systems like legal, economic, or social systems that are designed to maintain dominance and promote supremacy. Meaning, part of systematic control is to create a system that is able to limit freedom to some, not everybody, to some, right? But the ultimate goal of that system is to promote dominance and supremacy. Meaning a group is superior than another group, or that group has a divine right, which this is what they think. They have the divine right to dominate you and have you under control and under subjugation. This is what it means, systematic control. Okay? So now, the next one we have premeditated enslavement. So premeditated enslavement means your situation is not just accidental. It's not just accidental or circumstantial. Meaning it doesn't just happen. Okay? But enslavement that was carefully planned and intentional. Carefully planned and intentional. Implying deep-rooted conspiracies or historical planning to suppress, exploit, and again, dominate. The same word is back again. So that system, that enslavement system was carefully planned with the purpose of suppressing, exploiting, and dominating. Now you're going to find out, even if you're not in America, and you're in another country like Jamaica, like Haiti, like Guadeloupe, all of those islands, most, if not all of them, are still under domination. They're still under systematic control. They're still under premeditated enslavement. How do you know that? How do we know? Why is it Jamaica still under British control? Somebody, you ever ask yourself that question? Why is it when Charles became king, our Jamaican brothers are still saying, God save the king? Somebody explain that to me. Why? Why is it almost half of all those little islands in the Caribbean, they're still under French control? They call them French territories. But here go the best part. Those people living in their islands can't just go to the mainland. I thought it was French territory. Hold on. You call that colony. They're still supposed to be French territory. They got the French police officers there, but the people can't travel to the mainland unless they have some papers. Does that make sense to you? So this entire system today, we're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you how you can escape from that system. So first thing, let's talk about premeditated enslavement. Let's get Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Exodus chapter 1, verse 10.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 10.
So right before that, just remember everything that you see, everything that you know, is not what it seems to be. A lot of times we are watching the news, we see something, we're like, wow, it's happening right now. Trust me, it had already happened 5 years ago, or maybe it already happened a couple of days ago. You're seeing it now, but there's somebody that planned it, and you're just seeing the effect of it. Oh my God, there's a massive explosion. Everybody flee Pompano. Maybe somebody already planned it and they wanted to kick all the black people out. I'm just giving you an example. Okay? So when you see something, don't think it just happened. A lot of time it already happened because somebody planned it carefully by design. Once you start thinking that way, you're going to start seeing a lot of the things that have happened to us as a people was planned a long time ago. But unfortunately, we're still sleeping. So Exodus chapter 1, verse 10.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they fall out in war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore, the day did set over them taskmasters to afflict them.
To what?
To afflict them with the burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Wamas.
So remember that word here. Let's deal with them wisely. That's the key word here. Let's deal with them wisely. Now, if you pay attention, so this was a premeditated slavery plan. But if it's premeditated, you're still going to need justification. Am I correct?
Correct.
So what was the first thing? The first thing is they have a plan. Second, they have a justification for the plan. And the third is what you need to know, which is more important, is the ultimate goal. There is an ultimate goal. So let's read it again. I'm going to see if you can see which part was the master plan and which part was the justification and which part was the ultimate goal, because all of it is in that one verse right there. Read it again.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when they fall out of any war, they join also unto our enemies.
So would you agree when he says, let us deal wisely with them? That's the master plan right there. If I'm saying, I'm going to deal with this guy, doesn't that mean you're going to be sitting down and playing something? You know what? We're going to deal wisely with them. Every time when they put their hands like that together, you know they're going to plan something evil.
You make them comfortable.
Right? Or they do that, right? So we're gonna deal wisely with you. They're about to plan something. Right? Read.
And fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
So now the justification was that if the enemy comes, we are afraid. Okay, they're pushing that fear narrative. We worried, we fear that they're gonna join our enemies and they're gonna defeat us. But did any Israelite ever told you they had a plan to do that? Second, they ain't got no land. Where they gonna go? How could you just put that in your mind and be like, they're going to join the enemy and defeat us? Like, nobody has any. First of all, black people, we don't have time to plan all that. Okay? Be real with me. Has any of you ever sit down and be like, let me plan evil against anybody? Like against Esau? No, we don't do that. But Esau planning. You're gonna build your store in their neighborhoods. They'll be like, all right, let's call it council and see how we can make sure we kick them out of the neighborhood. Black people ain't got time. We don't got time to do all that. That's too much. Too much planning. But Esau like to sit down. Our enemies in general, they like to sit down and plan. And right there, when they say let's deal with them wisely, that's the plan. And then the justification is that those people are a threat to us. They might hypothetical, join with our enemy and defeat us. Next, read.
Verse 11.
No, it says, therefore.
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with the burdens.
So the plan goes into effect now by putting taskmasters and have them work hard. Read.
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramas.
What was the ultimate goal? All right, let me see who's paying attention. What was the ultimate goal? Why did they have us in slavery? To build them treasure cities. Make them that moolah. Okay? The goal, why do you think they brought the slaves over here? Because they needed people to work in the cotton field.
Con.
They needed people to work in the sugar canes. Let me tell you something. They brought us here because they needed our strength for labor. That's why. But they had to justify it. And you know the first justification was? It was Pope, was it Mr. Isha, Pope Alfonso the Fifth of Portugal? Pope Nicholas. He goes and asks, actually Alfonso the Fifth of Portugal asked Pope Nicholas to give him authorization to enslave the Saracens. The Saracens are the descendants of Sarah, Israelites, to put them in perpetual slavery. For why? Why? Because they supposedly they were a threat to Christianity. That was the justification. Oh, these people were a threat. Let's put them in slavery. But the reality is, it's just because they needed people to work in the cotton field. Okay, so now let's continue, right? So this is what we call premeditated slavery plan. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 83, right quick.
Psalms 83.
Read.
Keep not thy silence, O Most High.
Don't stay quiet, O Most High. Read.
Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Most High. For lo, thy enemies make a turmoil, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Read.
They have taken crafty counsel.
What do you think crafty counsel mean?
Secretly.
These your coworkers and your supervisors planning against you. Is the kind of crafty counsel they be pulling at the job. Hey, we're going to have. That one time, one come to me, is like, man, we have a great plan for you. I say, it better be good. I'm looking at writing this. I say, it better be a good plan. He's like, yeah, I think it's going to be a good plan. I'm looking at it like, Let me tell you something. When you tell me you have a plan to me, for me, I automatically know it's probably some evil plan. Okay? Those are the crafty counsel that they had planned to destroy us. And not just recently, but thousands of years ago. And you're going to see what they wanted to, the ultimate objective was. Read.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Let us do what?
Come on and let us cut them off from being a nation.
The ultimate goal here was to stop them from being a nation, to stop them from being a people. I mean, seemingly it seems like it's working because we're scattered everywhere. We're living in different nations under different banners, speaking different languages. But they don't know the Most High. As you can see, slowly we're rising up. And they are afraid. And the more they are afraid, the more oppressive they are becoming. Mm-hmm. Don't you realize that?
Gone.
Once the enemy is afraid, they become more oppressive, hard, harsh. That's because we're waking up. Right? So now, let's go into the next part, which is systematic control. We just talked about premeditated enslavement. a careful plan designed to enslave. Let's get Exodus chapter 1, verse 16.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 16.
Read.
And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stool, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
You should do what?
Ye shall kill him.
Read.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Why kill their sons? To obliterate the Hebrew bloodline, to take out the strength of the nation, like you say. Do you know what this is called? It's both genocide and population control. Now, here's something. We're living right now, 2025. We're thinking, man, those things, this is back in the days. At least when we were in Christianity, we thought, man, that happened a long time in Egypt. That one time I was reading a report, and it showed you in South Carolina that the population of the entire state, black people, was about 7% at that time. Okay, 7%. Yet the majority of what do you call it? Stillbirth, when the kids that die. The majority of stillbirth in that state was actually black people. Explain that to me. If you're just 7% in the population, right, and over 50% of kids, black kids that die, is black kids, doesn't that mean that you are overwhelmingly a huge chunk of your population of the kids are dying in the hospital mysteriously? Now, especially if you get pregnant, you're black and Hispanic, and they look at it, they see it's a boy, they're going to come to you and say, I don't think that baby's going to survive. Do you want to take some pills? They're always offering you something. I think they did come to my wife and be like, we can check your baby's DNA and put a needle in the belly. I said, nah, we're not doing that. Nope. We good. Nah, it's important. You can do that. I don't trust people like that. All right? So now what I'm trying to say is it may not be known. It may not be reported. We may not be tracking it as a people. But it is a known fact that black kids, a lot of them don't make it, either during the process as they're being born, or for some reason it's overwhelmingly black kids, and we're just 14% in this country. How does that happen? It's called population control. Next, let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 48. 28, verse 48. This is why when Mika was being born, I was in the hospital every second. And every time a doctor or anybody walk in, I'm wide awake. They're looking at me like, this guy never sleep. I'm not sleeping. I want to see everything. Talk to me. And I'm not. She said, you can't. God. So as a father, you need to be on your toes, how they say it, on guard, paying attention to every detail. Ask questions. You don't understand something? Talk to me. Explain it to me. Right? That way, if you're gonna do something crafty, I will know. Right? Read.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 48. Therefore, shall thou serve thy enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Right. So this curse here highlights our enemy's total control over every aspect of your life. Your clothing, your food, whatever you need, you depend on him. Like right now, if you need medicine, where's the black pharmacy at? Raise your hand if you know one of them. Okay. Right now, if you sick, where's the black hospital at? But we do have Jewish hospitals, don't we? Where is where is um, the black FedEx at? I actually went to Boca. They have a FedEx entirely for a Jewish resort place. I forgot the name of it. It's actually pink. Inside of it, there's FedEx. There's you know that place, right? Palmer, something like that. The place is fancy. I went in there because I had to go to a FedEx, and security guard came with guns and like, so where you going? I said, I'm just trying to go to FedEx. Well, this is a private FedEx. I said, hold up, wait a minute. There's a private FedEx? So yeah, man, this is private, this and that. I'm like, you see, a lot of those things we don't know them. But again, where is the black hospital at? Where is the black FedEx at? Where is anything that we build that we can call our own? If things are not going right, we can rely on what we have. We don't have it, and that's a problem, right? So where is the black ambulance at? Did you guys know that our Jewish friends they got their own ambulance service?
They got their own police department too.
Did you know our Jewish friends? Allow me to use the word our Jewish friends if you understand what I mean. But did you know our Jewish friends? They have their own police force in New York, and the cars actually have Hebrew letters and everything. And the cops they wear ZZs and everything. You know why I never become a police officer? Because they wanted me to shave my beard. I said that's just not going to happen. Yeah, you have to. Nope, nope, nope. I'm rebellious. I think if I was in the slave trade, they'll kill me quickly because I'm rebellious as hell. The scripture said, don't shave your beard. I'm not shaving my beard. It's not happening. I was willing to talk, hey, let's come to a compromise. I can bring a doctor's note because I did have some of those little, nah, you have to do. I'm like, all right, good luck. I got other things to do. So I go straight into technology. What I'm trying to tell you is if we, as a people, we had the power, we could have our own police force in our own community and nobody would be harassing me about my beard. I'm just giving you an example, right? And why the hell is Esau policing our streets? They don't even know our kids. Why is the people that hate us the most, they're the one in our neighborhood supposedly providing us security and safety? Does that make sense to you? Don't you think it would make sense for our elders to sit down with those Edomite cops and check to see if they really love black people before they work in black people community? Think about it for a second. Think about it. We live in the hood, right? Those people that's supposed to be providing us security, it's nobody that have ever lived in the hood. That's a problem. But again, those other people, they have the power and the money, their community, they have their own police force that can police their own community. And guess what? Those cops, they're going to give their people the benefit of the doubt if something happens. The first intention is not going to be to pull out the gun and shoot. Let me tell you something. If you ever live in the hood, you know who's a threat and who's not a threat. Talk to me. If you ever live in the hood, you know who's a threat and who's not a threat. Like I would go, like I go to the hood, like I used to live in the hood. Some people, I look at them, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? We have conversation, it's not a problem. I don't see the threat. Other people you see in the neighborhood, you're like, this guy, he's problem. He's suspicious. Now, a cop won't know the difference because he never lived in the hood. He's an Edomite police officer. Wouldn't it be safe that is someone who was living in the neighborhood that know maybe the people in the neighborhood that can be the best police officers for us? That way, they're not going to kill the innocent just because he's black. Oh, this guy is black. He's on a bicycle at midnight. But again, what is the crime for being on a bicycle at midnight? Maybe he doesn't have a car. But again, if you're in the hood, you're on a bicycle at midnight, they think automatically you're doing drugs. So they control all aspects of our life. And that is something I'm going to show you that we need to break out of it. Right? So the next thing is cultural education deprivation. Give me Daniel chapter 1, verse 3 to 4. Read it when you have it. Daniel chapter 1, verse 3 to 4.
Daniel chapter 1, verse 3 to 4. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his
Eunuchs.
eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish,
Read.
but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understanding science, and such has had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
So let me ask you a question. Why take the best of the young men? Why? What's the ultimate goal?
To use them.
Read it again. Like, I don't think the people realize that. Like, I don't think they're processing what's going on here. Where it says, and the king spoke unto Ashpenaz. Read it.
You want me to first verse 4, right? Verse 3. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of Enoch, that he shall bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored, and skillful in all wisdom, and cunning in knowledge, and understand science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
Read.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
So they find the best, the strongest, and the wisest young men of Israel, and they bring them to their palace, but to do what? Because it just told you. No, it says one. There was something it says before that. To what? To teach.
To teach.
To do what?
To teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
First, teach them their language. Read.
Verse 5.
Okay, verse 4 is fine.
Yeah.
So teach them their language and their ways to do what? To serve them. Especially if they are younger. Let me tell you something. If you take a child while he's young, you teach them something, they are highly likely to follow the path that you put them on, right? So it is to Esau's advantage to try to teach you his way, okay? By stripping you of your way, removing what you know so they can teach you what they want you to know. Why is it all the pastors, they speak the same way?
School of theology.
I just want you to think for a second. For example, and I'm sure you've heard it before. God love everybody. Mm-hmm. Don't they all say the same thing? Mm-hmm. Where did they learn it from?
The white man told them.
They go to theological school or to theology. They went to learn to study God. You can study your own self. Now you're about to study God. Cut it out. But the whole thing is they have systems that they create to teach certain type of things, and that knowledge is spread throughout the black community, and all of us, we start regurgitating the same nonsense. We start repeating the same nonsense. Oh, it doesn't matter what color he is. Where did you learn that? Since when it wasn't matter? Okay, fine. Your child is lost, and the police officer asks you, what color is? Sir, it doesn't matter what color he is. My son is just lost. Ma'am, what color is your son? It doesn't matter if he's blue, black, or yellow, or pink. He just find my son. They'll never find your son. Yeah, don't be racist. Well, they will never find your son. If you need to know what the Mashiach looked like, you need to know what color he was. You need to know where he came from. You need to know his historical background. Then it would make sense why he get killed like a black man. So now, what I'm trying to show you here is it's a system that they put in place to teach you specific types of knowledge that they need to spread around, especially to weaken us as a people. Do you know a lot of the churches, they teach black people, whatever they do, don't react, don't act. If they slap you, it's okay. Don't give up. If they steal your money, It's okay. And he got the thing. Esau would be like, man, I didn't do it. The devil had me do it. And you have that even right now in our black society. A lot of people are never guilty of anything. Brother, it's all love, man. I didn't mean to take your money. It's the devil that had me take. Well, you're going to have to give me my money back. I don't care. But again, this same type of teaching, they teach it throughout the churches, and all the churches and our people. We pick it up and we keep spreading the same nonsense. That has to stop. Next, let's go back to Baruch chapter 3, verse 8.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 8. Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Most High our power.
What do you think that means when you are subject to payment? Taxes. If you are paying taxes to a nation that's not your own, you're in captivity. You are under subjugation. Fines. Some fines don't even make sense. They got fees for everything. That one time I was doing my renewing my registration. It says you got to pay $2.99 convenience fee. I said, what? What is the convenience fee? Can somebody explain to me what the convenience fee is?
Yes, we don't know what to call it. So.
They should call it the inconvenience fee, because it's not convenient to me. They got all kind of fees and interest, like like one of the black celebrities. His name is Country, and he say when they talk about the student loan interest, he say I'm not even interested in that. Right? They got all kind of fees and all kind of interest and late type of payments and everything.
You can't even cancel it.
And you can cancel.
There's a cancellation.
I buy something online. It says in order for you to purchase it, you have to put your credit card. I'm like, I know they're gonna put something. So, but I needed it, so I put my credit card. But it says you can always call in, within 7 days to cancel it. So I call. And the thing texts me immediately, say, your service has been canceled. Thank you so much. I say, oh, that was easy. No. At the end of the month, I see $35. I'm like, oh, my Lord. Where'd that come from? Good thing for me, the credit card was like, nah, we're not accepting that. So I called the credit card. I say, yeah, is there a way you can delete that so that never come through? So they say, yeah, they're going to delete it. They did. Literally, I have proof that it was canceled the same day, but it was never canceled. It was not canceled. So this is how it's designed, to take your money, right, and then to have you pay for things sometimes you don't even need and take advantage of you and rip you off. If this is happening to you right now, this is a sign that you are under systematic control. For example, you're paying money for car insurance, right? Time for you to claim, to process a claim, they're giving you a hard time. They don't want to give you the money, right? But did you know Esau actually can pay the insurance up front? There's a way you can pay like $30,000 up front, so you don't have to make any monthly payment. And you can keep that $30,000 for forever. Did anybody know that? Like you can purchase your insurance, like literally $30,000 up front for your car insurance, so you don't have to make that monthly payment. But you have to have $30,000 cash. So a lot of Edomites, they'll be like, here, $30,000, never make monthly payment anymore. Do the math. Since you've been paying for insurance for the past 20 years, see how much money you've already spent. I bet it's way more than $30,000.
It is way more.
Do the math, right? And guess what? There is no end to it, because if you don't pay, the state will be like, you need to pay or your
license will get
your license suspended. They create the system. It's so perfect. It's so perfect in their eyes. If you miss one payment, everything will start falling apart. Oh, you didn't show up, you didn't pay that money, then because of that there's a warrant, and the warrant because of that warrant you go to prison, and when you go to prison you need money to get bailed out, and you're like, wait a minute, all of that, don't you realize I don't have any money? It's a system that's designed for that. to rip you off, basically. But then, again, if you in a country, or any country for that fact, that you're paying money to people that's not your own, you're paying money to government that does not represent you, it's a sign of slavery. As simple as that. Right? Especially even if the government supposedly represents you, but it's owned by a foreign nation, it's still the same thing. Okay? So now, let's get First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Who's saying, uh-oh? First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, the king Antiochus wrote his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
That there should be what?
One people. And everyone should live his laws. So all the Eden agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites.
Many also of the Negroites, read,
consented to his religions, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Shabbat.
One of the things about systematic control is forcing you to leave your religion and your way of life and make you think that everybody is one. Let me say that again. One of those things about systematic control is to make you or force you leave your religion and your way of life, just to make you think. Because trust me, they don't look at you as equal, but they will make you think we are all equal. They try to make you think we are all equal, especially when it comes to Christianity, and we are all Christians. No, I'm not. Count me out. One of them did tell me, because we were debating online about something about religion, and she's like, I thought you was a good Christian. I ain't say nothing about being no Christian. She had nothing else to say. They would use that, we are all Christian, we are all one, forgive, love. And they have that love sign everywhere, but ain't nobody loving nobody. It's all lies and deceit. Go ahead, Ad.
Right, in slavery, they made it law. Even though a Negro got baptized and was Christian, he was still a slave.
You're still a slave. In Islam, same thing. You convert to become a Muslim, you're still a slave. I don't care how much you say Allah Akbar, whatever, you're still a slave. Same thing in Christianity. You get baptized, you think you're free. No, you're still a slave. Yet, now they're going around preaching and talking about we are all one, we are all united. I don't think so. We're not falling for that trick. So read it again. Has anybody discovered water? Read it again. It's water.
First Maccabees 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
All should be what?
One people.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, except for you Negroes and the Latinos. But it's fact. It's factual. Let me tell you something. Have you seen lately how they're treating, especially, there's this young man born here, American, and they went into his house, and because they were looking for his dad, not his mom, they ended up handcuffing the entire family. Now, let me tell you something. If that family was Edomite, they would treat them differently. But he's brown people. You call easy prey. Black, brown, easy prey. That's what you are in this nation. They handcuffed him, and they took his dad. I don't know if the mom was. They took the mom too. And they left 2 kids in the house. Both of them were young. I think he was like 18, but his sister was younger. But they handcuffed him. And the handcuff was very tight. He kept saying, like he's too tight. Oh, man, you can take it. You better, shut up. The way they treated them was so bad. But we are all equal, right? It's one nation. We should get equal treatment. But why did you have colored bathrooms and white bathrooms? I thought we were all equal. One nation under God. Why was it in most of the stores you had that sign that says no dogs, no Negroes, and no Mexican allowed? But we are the same. We are all Christian, right? That's what they say. We are all Christian. It's fake. Don't fall for it. Right? Read 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 56.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burned them with fire.
They do what?
They burned them with fire. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
So anybody that you see that's reading the law, you should put them to death. And also they had this campaign going around and burning the Torah. Why? It's called suppressing knowledge. If you don't want somebody to know who they are, where they come from, their culture and everything, you need to do what? You need to suppress the knowledge. You need to make sure they don't read books. Why do you think it was forbidden for the slaves to learn, to read and write? Because the attempt was to suppress knowledge. Even at times when our people could not read and write, we would gather together and we would sing folk songs. We would dance. But they forbid slaves from gathering together. If they see a bunch of slaves coming together, you could get chastised. You could get punished. Because they think you're up to no good. But most importantly, because they know if you got 50 slaves in one place, we're going to be sharing knowledge. We're going to be talking about, oh man, where you come from? So you from Igbo land? What about you? From Guinea? Let's talk about our history, where we come from. And guess what? We're going to connect the dots. They don't want that. So it's important for them to suppress knowledge. Now, let me tell you something. They love black people being in the church. Why is it all of a sudden we're reading the Bible the correct way? They want to call us a hate group. We're not out here hating anybody. The KKK hate us because if they find us, they'll hang us. We're not out here looking to hang anybody. Yet, for some reason, we are a bigger threat than the KKK. Or because we're showing you exactly what's written in the Bible. The knowledge was allowed when it was convenient for them. But when we're reading it the right way and we decipher it, we can see through the lies, and we're teaching our people who the devil is, all of a sudden we are a problem. Suppressing knowledge is one of the signs that you are under systematic control. Isaiah 10 verse 1.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1.
Read.
Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that white grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment.
Read.
And to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be the prey, and that they may rob the fatherless.
You are under systematic control when the legal system itself can be weaponized and enslave people with unjust laws. Let me tell you something. A lot of laws that Esau have, they are very ambiguous. They have more than one definition. And it's designed that way to benefit some people and oppress other people. The same crime that an Edomite boy commit, you might find you would do the same thing. You get 20 years and that Edomite boy get 2 years. Or they get, they get probation. The Bible is not like that. If a crime, the punishment is death, it doesn't matter who it is. You're gonna get the death penalty. But Esau, It's all about how the law is written and the amount of money you have. But laws in this country and in Europe and in all those Edomite countries, they are designed to be that way. They can be used against you at any time. Read it again.
Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous, decree and that white grievousness which they have prescribed.
I'm going to give you an example of unlawful decree, right? You had a bunch of people at the border about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. No, actually more than that, 3 years ago. And the Biden administration created an app. The app was basically to let people go to a vetting system so they don't have to try to come through the border, right? And if they pay a certain amount of money, then they would be legally allowed to buy a ticket and to fly to come to the United States. That's called an avenue, right? It's a parole. It's a way of coming in. And then when they come in, they can apply for temporary protected status, right? And then maybe you work in the country. But again, temporary, at one point they will go. But now, listen to that and listen carefully. You had a lot of people leave their home in hope of coming over here. You could have easily just shut the whole border. Listen to what I'm trying to say, okay? So people don't understand. I'm not taking political sides, but I want you to understand. The same thing Trump did, which he shut the whole border. You could have shut the whole border and say nobody come in, right? But you pretend to give them a way of coming in, which a lot of people did. They went through the process. Some of them waited for a long time, and they come. But then when they come, you pass a decree under this new administration that even those people that were legal, that their protected status was not expired, you say, blanket, all of you, your status is expired. Over 500,000 people, we're talking about Haitians, and almost 500,000 Cubans and Venezuelans, they find themselves without status. But what about all the money they don't spend? You did take the money, didn't you? Oh, the ticket, some of them paid $2,000 just for a ticket to make it here. And you have to pay $700-something to file for, I think, the TPS. You take all the money and you say, come on in, we're going to help you out. But all of it, why? Because they needed people after 1 million people die after COVID. You needed people to work those jobs. Once everything is set, you can go back where you come from. It's all by design. Now, unfortunately, sadly, you do have a lot of our tribes, especially some of the Hispanic tribes, that fell for Esau's tricks. One of those ladies, she had a whole song. The song was like, oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. They took her husband. ICE took her husband, and her husband got deported. I saw her crying. I said, you will vote for Donald Trump? Why? She literally had a whole song, and they were in a boat, and they had this big flag. So happy. Now she's upset. Why are you upset? Why are you upset? I mean, clearly the people wanted him in power, and clearly the Most High let him become president, and clearly you were singing for him. You can't be upset now. Don't be like, oh my God, I don't have my husband. You're going to have to go over there in Cuba and stay with your husband. It's the same thing that's going on. So people, don't fall for those tricks. And I told you last time, well, I don't know if you were here for the new moon lesson. While a lot of you, especially some of our people, we're looking at the situation, that's an immigrant problem. No, it's not. It's all one of the many steps to get to you. Because that big prison they're building in the Everglades, they call it the Alcatraz. It can take 5,000 to 10,000 people. They say, which is going to be putting immigrants. Then what's stopping them from putting all other black people that's not even immigrants? Because they start sending all the black people to El Salvador. And they say they're taking people from prisons here in the United States and send them over there, regardless whether you're an immigrant or not. So I want you people to understand what's going on. Don't fall for those tricks. This election that had passed, people say, you're going to vote? Nope. Once I see the Israelite brother with fringes maybe I'll start thinking of voting. But until then, I'm not voting. I'm not. And I'm not interested in none of that thing that's going on. This is not for us. But I want you as a people to be vigilant, because there's going to be more evil decrees that's going to be coming out. By law, slavery is illegal in the United States, except in the case where you have been duly convicted for a crime. A lot of people owe money. What's stopping the government from charging all of you with a crime? Them student loans? What's stopping the government to say, all of you being charged and you are convicted now of never paying that student loan, duly convicted, now you're going to be going to that Everglades prison and work
Taking them loans.
and be slaved and work until you pay that debt. What's stopping them from doing it? The Supreme Court just gave the president more power than he ever needed now. Even the district judges cannot stop him. The Supreme Court says stop with all that. So he can do whatever he wants. And we're not talking about just that president, any other president. As a matter of fact, you might find this guy might be like in the middle. Someone might be far worse than him. Just think about it. And you might be surprised. You might be like, the Democrats going to be better. You'll be surprised.
They will not be better.
So,
Same agenda.
so folks, pay attention, okay? And be on guard. A lot of evil decrees going to come out. Now, let's get Wisdom of Solomon chapter 2 verse 10. We're almost done. You know something? Another thing I wanted to add. You have, for example, the Mexican border right now. It's militarized. You have tanks and everything in that border. Why is there's no battle tanks, no APCs, no soldiers at the Canadian border? You ever think about that?
That's their people.
Why is it now they pass a law? I think they make like almost 40 countries that they're banned from coming to the United States. Majority of them are black countries, but yet European countries, come on in, my European brother, come in. Negroes, stay out.
We don't know you.
Right? So, evil decrees, laws that can be switched up and changed at any time and be used against you. Read Wisdom chapter 2 verse 10.
Chapter 2 verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age.
Right. So another sign that you are under systematic control is when you have a system in place that does not care about the old, that does not care about the kids, that does not care about the women, that does not care about the widow. Now, in Israel, here it's a little bit different. If a woman is widow, she can still work. But in Israel, if a woman is widow, this is someone you pay attention to because you know she doesn't have a husband who would be the head of the family. The government need to provide for her until if she decides to get married or whatever the case is. So it was necessary for you to have a government that have mercy on widow, on the fatherless, on the old people that have nothing going on for them, that have no job or no money or nothing. But here in this system that we live in, almost any other country in the Caribbean, you would not put kids in jail. But here they have juvenile systems where a lot of children are behind bars. Some of them, they get raped. Think about it for a second. And who do you think most of those kids are? Black and Hispanics. Think about it, the trauma some of those kids they go through in those systems, and they call them correction. You're not correcting, you're just oppressing them kids. Right? But again, as much as we could say this whole thing started with the family, but again, why is the family was not able to provide for the kids? Why is it the family was not able to take care of the kids? It's because the system is oppressive enough, not paying, not giving them opportunity. It all started from the very bottom, and it affects everything. Go ahead.
And we got to ask ourselves, why are the kids so violent and delinquents?
And we're going to get to that.
You know, that the TV, you allow a bunch of things. Like in China, they control what goes through the media. Here, everything is loose.
Right.
You know, you parents may be doing a good job with your Yaladim at home, but what they're watching, or what other children are watching out there and how their behavior affect yours.
Right. And now, adding to that is, and that's just part of um, explaining to you how this system has no mercy for kids or the elderly. You have a lot of black elderly that unfortunately they reach retirement age and they have nothing. Like literally have nothing. Some of them, you know, they're getting like $2,000 a month retirement money, and then the life insurance as you get older, it's actually more expensive. And I think the health insurance too, if you don't have Medicaid, it's sky high. So you're gonna be paying almost $1,000 just for insurance alone. And then, how you gonna feed yourself? How you gonna pay rent? So some of those elderly, if they don't have like a child, a son or a daughter to give them a place to live, they're in trouble. And that one time, my mom had someone give her a lot of cat food, and you know, my mom, she doesn't have cat, so she's like, I'm gonna give it to the neighbor, because the neighbor, she's an elderly woman and she has cats. And when my mom went there, my mom had a bunch of them. My mom said, "Hey, I got cat food." She said, "No, that's not cat food. That's for me. I haven't eaten in a long time." My mom was shocked. She said she hadn't eaten in a long time. She was starving, and she's old. She has nobody. You think the system care? The system don't care about her. The system don't care about the kids either. Obviously, if you don't know, the system is whoever has money, you get the best treatment. It's all about money. But for those lot of old black and Hispanic women, you're not getting anything, no support, nothing. You're gonna suffer. All of that is part of systematic control. So you are under systematic control if you see that they teach you to hate each other. That's a sign. If they teach you to distrust one another, and we see it all the time, our people typically trust Esau more than they trust one another. Next, they used to, we were forbidden from learning how to read and write. They purposely make the education system so bad so that many young black kids, they cannot read or write. I'm telling you, a lot of kids, they graduate high school. You grab a map and tell them, show me the United States. They can't. What happened to the geography class? Chemistry? Forget about that. Them kids don't even know what that means. Chemistry? What is chemistry? Oh, having chemistry between people? No, that's not what we're talking about. Okay? So it's really that bad. And COVID had made it even worse. A lot of the kids, they can't read. And so they have to find a way to just graduate them and get them out of the school. But they can't read. They can't write. We are in trouble. So this is a sign of a systematic control. Yet, if you go to their neighborhood, they get some of the best schools. They get the books. They get the programs. They get the attention. When I was in high school, they were trying to put me in one of those low-level classes. We had to go and talk to them and say, like, you need to stop putting us in those bad classes. And then, at the same time, some of our, my compadres, they had actually technology class where they were learning how to code, and they were in the media center and shooting videos with expensive cameras. And you trying to put us in joke classes? I was like, nah, we're not going to those classes no more. I told you I was rebellious. Always rebellious. If it's not right, I'm talking. I'm saying something. So that happens. A lot of kids in high school, when you're in high school, the black kids, they give them bad classes, and them Chinese kids, they're coming from Chinese or other kids from Thailand, they will immediately put them in calculus, put them in AP classes. They don't even know how to say a word in English. But they give you some of the bad Esau classes, and you never get out of them. This is factual because I was in high school. I went to high school here, right here in the United States, so I know what I'm talking about.
They give you all the Esau class.
They try to give me a bunch of nonsense Esau class. I said, man, Esau class, I can speak English. I know how to say my name is. Stop playing games, people.
Like at some point, I told him, man, I don't want him no more.
It's nonsense. It's all designed, and apparently they get paid for keeping you in those ESOL class. But ESOL class is literally teaching you how to say cat. I know how to say cat, dogs, cats, and all of them. So stop it. You know. So next, you know that we are under systematic control. If you see, they have gun stores, liquor stores, and a lot of churches in your neighborhood. They're everywhere. Don't take my word for it. Just drive in any place you call the hood. You see gun store, liquor store, and everything. Probably lottery too. They have a lot of lottery, so you can waste your money. Also, what they do is they glorify gang culture. For a long time, especially from the 1980s to the early 2000s, it was gang culture. Now that has changed. It's the horror culture. The music that's coming out is literally teaching the women how to be whores. And they got all tattoos in all their faces. They're going to be old grandma full of tattoos. Embarrassing. It's a shame. Can you imagine when your grandma is like old and she has tattoo in her face? And you're like, man.
Like most of them,
And
they are
she'll be
shameless
like, you have
anyway.
to be a good person. Were you a good person, grandma? Because clearly you were not. You look like you was ghetto as hell. So what I'm trying to say is that horror culture that they're pushing, don't let your kids be listening to them songs. They're paying them female rappers a lot of money. They destroy the men by pushing gang culture, and all the kids wanting to be part of a gang. You remember that movie that came out? What was it called? The Menace to Society. So many black kids, after they watched that movie, they wanted to go and rob a store and kill somebody. They're pushing they push gang culture, and now it's turned into the horror culture. Next, you know you are under systematic control when they kill your leaders and assassinate your leaders. Martin Luther King, he tried to speak up, and he was literally one of those guys that Esau could make deal with. They still kill him. Malcolm X, take him out. What was this guy's name? I like him. He's Newton, J.P. Newton. I think that was his name. They kill him too. So many black celebrities, so many black leaders that rise up trying to free us, they take them out. They kill them. All of that is part of systematic oppression. They also incense our neighborhood with drugs. They portray you as evil in the media, in every movie. You ever see movies about Africa? It's always child soldiers. But you go to some beautiful place, for example, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Abidjan, beautiful. In Nigeria, in Ghana, some places in Ghana, so clean. Rwanda is one of the cleanest places in Africa right now. You don't see that in the media, do you? But yet, they're pushing that everywhere to make you think that everything black people do is bad. In the front line in the military, who do you think is getting shot? Haitians, Jamaicans, Judah. Those are people that's getting shot in the front line. Artillery. Who's doing it? But yet, when the movie come out for the American hero and the American sniper, who is it? Talk to me. It's an Edomite guy. We're not stupid. We can see right through them. You ever see the American hero and it's a black guy? Oh, I don't see that. But yet, who's the American hero in the front line getting shot? It's one of you. Next is they have us build cities for them. And they bring violence, or they jack up the prices and make it impossible for you to leave, and they force you out. Back in the days, Pompano, Ely, around Ely, in Atlantic, all the way to 10th Street, black neighborhood, 100% black neighborhood. Now all the homes are owned by Esau, and they jack up the price. They make everything more expensive and kick you out. Isn't it funny if you notice that as soon as you get paid, like it's almost as if your landlord know and they jack up the price. As soon as you get like a $2 raise, you happy, man, finally, boom, the landlord send a document. Your rent is gonna go up by $200. It's almost as if they're spying on you. Yes, he's gonna get a pay raise. Yes, bam, give me that money. It's theft. So this is called systematic control. It's a way of making sure you never get out of your situation. It's a way of making sure you never really make progress. You think you're making progress, but you're not. And they moved the retirement age from 65 to 67 now, knowing the average American will die at 74. So they give you 7 years to be happy and die.
You never gonna
By the time when you reach 67, you're already sick. You don't feel good. You have all kind of health problems.
the cripple already.
But they be like, all right now, you can be happy. Finally, you reach the pursuit of happiness at 67. That's a crime. In the Bible, you retire at 50. It doesn't make any sense for you to tell somebody you're going to retire at 67 when you know he's going to die at 74. The lifespan in the United States is 74. Outside of the United States is 72. If you tell somebody you're retiring at 67, you only give them 7 years to live. It's a shame. So, go ahead.
Quick thing. Rockefeller once said one thing. He said, we don't need thinkers in America. We need workers. So the whole plan is for you to, as the Bible says, to keep making payments. They don't need you to be thinking stuff, elevating yourself, getting knowledge. You understand? Doing your own business. No, like stay distracted, stay stupid, waste. Keep your children delinquent, and then they can keep the circle going, keep making payment. They don't care about anything else or than using you as a workforce. That's all it is.
Right. So the system does not like when you have wisdom, when you have knowledge, when you understand. But I'm going to tell you, how do you really escape the system? Number one, know that you're not alone. Work together. Give me Jeremiah 50, verse 33.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33.
You're not alone. The first thing, to escape, know that you're not alone, right? Read.
Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 33. Thus said the Most High of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Well, what?
Were oppressed together.
Read.
And all that took them captive held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Instead of going out there and making songs, oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. No. Work with us. Let's work together. Let's design things. Let's build things. Don't be out here and celebrating for the oppressor. The oppressor don't care about you. They don't love you. They don't care about you. Work with your own people. Go to the hood. Help someone. You have the knowledge, share it. You know how to cut grass. Find a young man that's out there that might be doing drugs and teach him how to cut grass and help him get one of the lawn mowers or something like that. Get him to work. You're a technician. Teach someone how to be a technician as well. Break the cycle. You have to. Because if this continues, we are doomed. Right? The next thing you have to do is you got to pay attention to see other people that have come out of oppression. And one of them was what? Was Moses. First thing, most important thing is you have to believe that the Most High is your primary and only way out. Meaning, if you don't believe in the Most High, if you don't believe in keeping those commandments, you're going to get stuck. You're not getting out. And throughout the whole Exodus, it was really a struggle to get Israel to believe on the Most High. And had Israel believed in the Most High, we would have been out of there so quickly. But too many times when things get so hard, they question the Most High. And we are one of those people that we don't want to take, if it's too painful for us, we switch allegiance. Like, man, forget about that, Lord. I mean, why am I going through so much? Of course it has to be difficult. And you're going to see the closer you are to achieving your objective, the closer you are to freedom, the harder it gets. This is not the time for you to waver. This is not the time for you to be scared. This is not the time for you to lose hope or faith. You have to keep going. Go ahead.
Right. So what you said is exactly on point. Only you coming in the scriptures, knowing God's discipline, will keep you exempt from what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. So the drugs, the lack of knowledge, your children are distracted in all this wickedness. the movies, all the illusions, all the tricks. Only when you're in God's laws, you're not gonna participate in that. And only the Most High laws that's gonna help you budget and save money. You understand? When you're not doing all this Halloween, going to the club,
Oh,
drinking alcohol. So this is the benefit of you coming to these laws and these commandments.
You're literally reading the whole thing. So, but another thing is you have to learn to resist assimilation, meaning the system that they build, it can seem to be very nice and very sweet and very attractive. Don't fall for it, right? It's easy for Esau to be part of what I got going on. It's a trap. Most likely, it's a trap. And if you ever have to, you're forced to be part of what they got going on, you have to be vigilant. So many celebrities, they offer them a lot of money to get up there. But they find out the higher it is the darker it gets. This is why a lot of them, in order for them to become rich, they had to do God knows what with some celebrities, some homosexual acts, or wear the dress. You have to put the skirt on.
Wear that dress, buddy.
Like there was this guy, he was saying he had his cousin, and he referred his cousin to Diddy for opportunities. And then the guy started hanging out with Diddy. That one time, Diddy called him and like, you got to come right now to my house at midnight. He's like, nah, what's going on? He's like, you got to party with me right now. And you know what it means when you say party. Mm-hmm. And then the guy still was not understanding it, but it's only after he realized that Diddy was like, if you don't come and do certain things for me, the deal is off. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people, they'll fall for it because they really need money. They don't want to fall. I mean, especially if they put you out there, you're on TV, you all the way up there, you don't want to fall and be working at a grocery store. So a lot of people, they do some bad things. Don't fall for none of those nonsense. You have to be ready to lose everything. If anything, you don't have anything anyway. You think the car is yours? It ain't yours. You think the house is yours? You're not a homeowner. You're a home mortgager. You have a mortgage. You're a homeowner when that thing is paid in cash. Fully paid. Oh, yeah, they can still take it if you don't pay the property tax. Right? So the next thing is preservation of identity and law. What you have as identity, what you have as the Torah, what you have as the culture, preserve it. Do what you have to do to preserve it. You see how we're teaching our children to keep the Shabbat. We teach our children to keep Pesach. We teach our children to keep Tabernacle and all the other wonderful feasts, Purim. We need to make sure we preserve that. Continue that legacy. So they themselves will teach their kids the same thing. Don't be afraid of sharing the knowledge. Pass it on. Preservation of identity, culture, and law. You have to learn how to preserve it. That's one way you're going to escape. Next, you need to explore cracks in the system. The system that you see here is not infallible. There are a lot of cracks in the system. You need to explore it. And one example is they give us the internet. Don't you realize as soon as they give us the internet, the message is spreading everywhere? So Esau is like, all right, we're going to have to change the algorithm. Now, if you go on YouTube, you type Hebrew Israelite, they show you someone speaking against Hebrew Israelite. But nonetheless, the message is still spreading. Too late. But again, this just giving us access to books, giving us access to the internet, we should not be using it to do wickedness, but rather use it to help get us out of here. Those are cracks, little cracks in the system. When you see a little crack, you need to batter it and widen it so you can help our people get out. I'm going to give you an example. All countries right now, they're interested in AI. You know the Israeli Air Force, a lot of the targets they were bombing in Iran, it was not human beings that were selecting the targets. It was actually AI that would tell them, this looks like some kind of defense system, you need to bomb it. And they automatically know that's a target and they bomb it. Why is it nobody's interested in AI over here? Who is working on the next LLM? LLM is called large language model, meaning the next AI model. Who's working on? None of us are working on it. But the knowledge is here. Learn. That's a crack in the system. Explore it so you can become great and so you can get out of the system. Next, don't repeat the same mistakes that we made. Especially as a father, no matter what, you need to stay in the house. One of the Wyan's brothers, you know what he says? He said something. He said his father never had money, but the greatest thing his father did was he was always in the house. And the mom did not make it any easier. The mother, for all he was saying, the mom was, every single time, she was saying, oh my God, Mr. Provider, you can't even provide. And just literally nagging him, giving him problems. He would spend the entire day working 2 or 3 jobs, come home just to be dealing with headaches. Yet, he still kept coming. And that Wyan brother, he said that was the best thing he's ever done, is the fact that he kept coming home. As a people, we need to learn. When we have kids, we take care of them and never abandon them. Stay close to them because we're going to teach them something. We're going to teach them to stay united. Okay? Many of us we were raised by a single mom without a father. And that has detrimental effect on us as a people. We cannot continue to repeat the same mistakes. It's destroying our people. Fix the problem. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you have to do 3 jobs. Do what you can do to take care of the kids. Provide as much as you can do. You can. As much as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, for the ladies, stop putting your happiness over your children. Life is not about being happy. You know, you guys are too concerned about, I'm not happy, I'm leaving. Like, you know, you married to get happy. You watch too much movies about being happy, ever happy in, what is it called? Yeah, happy ever after. You understand? Life, you know, life is not about being happy. It's about duty and responsibility. So stop with the children game. Today you married, you happy. The next day you're not happy, I'm leaving.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The children, they're first. So in both, the men, do your duty as a father and take care of your family and your children. The woman, do your duty as a mom, take care of your family and your kids. It's not about you. The moment you have them kids, you done lost your life. It's their life first. It's them first. Like, there was this lady in New York, apparently, she would instead of taking care of her kids, she would go clubbing. She was like in her 30s, and she would go partying, having fun, and so one of the kids ended up hating her because she was like, you're trying to act like you're a teenager, but you're a mom. Act like a mom. That was the oldest one. And essentially, she was literally losing the kids one after another because she still thinks it's time for her to party. Focus on the kids. It's not time for you to party. It's not time for you to have fun. Focus and raise your family. Focus on the kids. It's no longer about this person. It's not about that person. It's about coming together, work together, and build a family. I'm telling you, I keep asking the Most High to make sure I see my kids to grow to be at least 15. After that, I could die because I know what I'm going to teach them. By then, they'll be set for life. But I don't want, my dad left when I was 3. I never knew him that much. We don't want to continue that pattern. We do not want to continue that pattern. Being raised without a dad or being raised without a mom. So stop repeating the same mistake that we made. And we have 2 more. We're almost done. Also, okay, maybe more than 2 more. Stop trusting the system. We be calling the police for anything. Your neighbor, that's a black neighbor. Don't be reporting them for every nonsense. That one time I had a neighbor up there. They were like literally dancing up there. It was midnight. Thought it was some voodoo ceremony. I'm like, oh my God, I can't sleep. So I went up there at midnight. I knocked at the door. I said, I'm trying to sleep. Please, let me sleep. At the most peaceful way of talking. I was not aggressive. I said, guys, I really don't want to have to call the apartment. Just allow me to sleep. And the girl, she had the contract with the apartment. She's like, I'm so sorry. Apparently, it was her boyfriend that was doing all the noise and everything, commotion. She was mad at him. She was like, "You gonna make me lose the damn place?" And I'm like, "It's not a problem, but I'm just letting you know. Please let me sleep." And the noise stopped. What if I had called the police? What if the police showed up and the guy had a warrant and they snatched him from the house? Now she'd spend all her money trying to, come on, give each other the benefit of the doubt. Talk to one another. Don't be aggressive. You'll be surprised. The peaceful tone, the caring tone that you have in your voice itself can resolve all problems. This is essential. Another thing is just you want to break out of that system, stop going to jail. Our people will be way too emotional. Somebody look at you, man, let's get this strap. Why? Because he look at me certain way. You know that happened to me at my house. I saw a car. I was like, because the car was parking behind my wife's car. I'm like, and he came out of the car. He's like, why are you looking at me certain way? I said, because you're parking behind my wife's car. But I'm from the hood. I said, I used to live in the hood too. What you talking about? I'm from the hood. I'm like, relax, man. He's like, nah, bro, you was looking certain time. I said, because you were parking behind my wife's car. He's like, man, I'm saying I used to live in 7th Street over there. Like literally by Ely High School. That's the most ghetto place in Pompano. So I'm from the hood. He's like, oh, you used to live over there? Yeah, man. So we started having a whole conversation about who used to live where. But the whole thing is don't be emotional just because somebody looking at you, you act like you gangster. Imagine he came out, he pulled out a gun. And I have a license and I almost always I'm carrying. He pulled and we start shooting each other. Over what? Over nothing. Because I looked at him a certain way. Stop being emotional, people. Stop being emotional and stop going to jail for no reason. Next, explore the system's weakness. The system has a lot of weakness, folks. Economy is one of the weakness. Don't you realize they never care about the civil rights movement until they started losing their money? What about if all black people stop, maybe perhaps we cancel Christmas? No black individual buy on Christmas Day until they give us something that we're looking for. A lot of times we're looking for respect. We look for civil rights. We look for this. We don't understand the power we have. We have the buying power. If we say we're not buying no Jordan no more until they apologize, you're going to see all of a sudden they're going to be like, we are so sorry. They might even cry too. They might cry, I apologize. You know, it's probably fake crying. But when they're losing money, it's all be like, we are losing money. That's a weakness in the system we need to learn how to explore so we can get what we need as a people. Go ahead.
Right, that's what happened to Adidas. The minute that they went after Kanye, black people start burning them shoes. Not buying it. Their income dropped. And they're like, please, Kanye, can we talk about this? Because I bought the data one day. Like, we as a nation, if we came together, our buying power would surpass the top 10 countries in the world. So we have the buying power. We just don't have the unity.
You know his name is Kanye. Let's sit down, Khan. Come on, Khan. Let's sit down. Let's communicate. Your ability to purchase. Black people buy a lot. Like he said, as purchasing power, okay, we would be like one of the top countries when we put our money together. Christmas sells billions and billions of dollars. You should one of us. We ask you to apologize. You don't want to apologize. We are not buying nobody's buying for Christmas this year. But the Christians, they're going to buy for Christmas, obviously. We as Israelites, we don't buy for anything for Christmas. But we are not buying for the next 3 months. Or we are not buying for this. We can use what we have as leverage. Explore the system's weakness so we can ultimately get out. And the last verse is the book of Micah chapter 2, verse 10.
Micah chapter 2, verse 10. Arise ye and depart, from this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction.
Arise and depart, this is not your rest. A lot of you guys, you never actually leave outside the country. And I want to tell you something. As part of your escape plan, go to other countries and see how people live. Go to other countries and see how people live. Go to other countries and invest in land and invest in buying a house. Things maybe you in the United States will never own. A lot of you will work until the end of time. You will never own a land or a house. But yet, you could go to any other country. Even right here in the Caribbean, you can own a piece of land. And you can have people working for you. I don't think you heard what I just said. With the money that you have right now, you're making, you can literally have people working for you, taking care of the house while you're over here. And you can go at any time on the most beautiful vacation. You need to learn to explore other countries and explore the world. This is not your rest. And it's not for just one country. It's for go to different countries. Learn another language if you can. Don't stay here and work and die. Let me tell you something. If you're really looking to be happy, and you think working here for all eternity until you die, you're gonna waste your life and you will regret it. A lot of people they did a survey with a lot of people. Those people were close to dying. Some of them with cancer, etc. They asked them what do they regret the most. Some of them say they regret working so hard. Some of them say they regret not traveling. Some of them say they regret never learning another language. Some of them say they regret doing more charity. But if you really think that 9 to 5 for 30 years is normal, I'm sorry for you, it's not normal. Because a lot of countries, if you go to those countries, people will work for just a few hours and they have plenty of time to enjoy their children. A lot of people are not working just to continue their existence. They are actually working to continue their happiness. Let me tell you something. When you know you're working to continue your existence is if you don't work for a week, you're going to lose your home. That's a problem. It's a huge problem. Some people in other countries, they are working literally to make sure they have money in their bank account and to feed themselves. They don't, like the house is already paid, it's all built, it's all taken care of. But over here, if mommy doesn't work for a week, bye-bye apartment. If daddy doesn't work for 2 weeks, everything goes in. It literally you're living paycheck to paycheck. This is not normal. So as part of your escape plan, take those things into consideration, both physically, mentally, and do plan carefully, and ultimately, you're going to be able to escape that system of control and that premeditated enslavement system. Go ahead.
Right.
Last
So
thing, and then we're
a
done.
lot of people don't understand America as a marketplace, not a place of residence. Meaning people that come here that are smart, they take this system because the money is so high. They make money here, but they invest it abroad. You understand? I'm gonna tell you why. Because you see the land you buying it for $100,000-$300,000 just for Haiti. You can use $2,000 and buy a bunch of land. You can go to Jamaica and build a big business, buy a house, dirt cheap. So what white people do, they come here to make money, but they invest it outside of this place. Because you cannot be making money invested here. Because the money is too high, it's too expensive. So you have to find alternatives outside of this place and make business and doing different things. There's a reason why America outsources production to lower third countries. And they don't want to make, if you want to make profit in America, you cannot make the product in America. It's not going to be good for you. So it takes for you guys to understand where it's coming from.
I have a brother. He recently purchased a house. Three of them. They put money together. They purchased a really nice house, cash in Jamaica, and right now they're using it as Airbnb. Listen, and he's making serious money. He's like, man, I only see money be dropping in my account left and right. And again, it's a small little investment, and they're purchasing in a remote place in Jamaica. He went there like once or twice, but the house is under all the the three of them. So learn to explore the world. Don't think this is your rest. You just have to stay here and die here. A lot of you, you know it, and I know it. You know two things. You know something is very wrong with this system. Okay? You know it's wrong. You know when you wake up in the morning that alarm went off. You're like, man, I can't even get up. And the alarm say, get up. You're like, please get up. And then Bill's like, you better get up, homeboy. So you know this is wrong because you want a little bit of rest for yourself. You cannot work perpetually forever like that. But second, you know that if you look around, do those little things I'm telling you, but also look in other places, you'll find that you can make a lot more progress than you can imagine. Last thing I'll say, a friend of mine in Ivory Coast, she sent me a picture of her house. She was here in the United States. She went to school here in the United States for like a year. And her mom traveled around the world. She's one of those go-getters. She go all over the world. She go to Azerbaijan, she goes to Russia, and she makes business. She make a lot of money. And she was able to send her here to the United States, pay her schooling, pay her apartment and everything. So she was here by herself, but she was in school here. Remember, she's from Africa, Ivory Coast, right? And then she was talking about her house. I'm like, probably like some raggedy-looking house. When she sent me the picture of the house, I said, man, I need to do something, man, because this is ridiculous. I said, that's your house? She said, yeah, that's my house. You should see. It looks like a mansion. And I'm like, how much you pay a month? He's like, nah, this is all paid. I'm like, oh, my God, I'm poor. This is when you looking how poor you are. On tiles, beautiful, and they have free electricity. Why? They have solar panel and batteries. Water, they just have to dig a well. You don't have no city coming and be like, where is your license for using God's water? Where is your license for using God's sun? Can you believe it? You put a solar panel on your roof and someone is talking about you have to have a license? Or you're fishing, sir, you have to have a license for fishing. Is this your water or is it God's water? But again, all of that, they had it going. So we cannot think this is our rest right here in this country. Start thinking of how to escape physically and mentally. I'm not saying pack up your stuff and leave. What I'm trying to tell you, explore other places. If you find something that's better, go for it. It's not a problem. With that, Amaidim Lapani Yerushalayim. Let us stand and face Jerusalem. God. Amadim Lapanim Yerushalayim, let us stand and face Jerusalem. Hallelujah! 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 We give all praises to the Most High Yahweh Hashem Mashiach Yahushai, the King of the universe, the one who was, who is, and who is to come. We give him thanks for giving us the knowledge. Like he says in the book of Daniel, chapter 11, verse 33, those that have the knowledge will instruct many. It is our job to teach each other so we understand what time we live in and where we're living at. Therefore, we can behave differently, we can act differently, we can speak differently, and we can be a different people, a people according to the way the Most High wants us to be. I pray that the Most High bless us, that the Most High bless this congregation, that the Most High bless this community. Let it be that you strengthen us, O Most High, despite everything that's going on around the world. Let it be that you help us to focus and stay in the path of righteousness, so ultimately we can get out of this system of control, get out of this premeditated and pre-planned enslavement system. We ask those things by Hashem HaMashiach Yahushua Tawaratamion. Amen. Shalom Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom Yaimu. Borak Hashem Yisrael. Hallelujah Hashem Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom Yisrael. Shabbat Shalom Yaimu.
Yahweh.
Give Most High a hand. Mr. Shaw, if you'll do music.